Okay, I'm replacing the shocks on the car. I have a air compressor I borrowed from my friend John, and we have the shock tower up here, which I already loosened up. I'm going to install these shocks. This particular shock is the rear. This goes inside, and I will bring it underneath. Okay, I couldn't remove the shock from underneath the car, so I have to remove I had to jack up the car, support it, and now I gotta remove the wheel. So I need to take this nut off here, and there's one up here. It's being held up down there. I have to put a jack underneath the axle to make sure that there's no pressure on that bolt when it comes up the axle. Make sure it doesn't come down. Okay, in order to break the nut loose, I had to do a couple things. You can see here there's a jack underneath the car, and what you can't see is there's a jack underneath the axle, because I'm using the hydraulic jack to turn that big wrench there to loosen the nut up. Sometimes it has to be a slow, gentle pressure rather than a hard hitting one. So I'm just going to show you how I jack this up, then I'm going to use the hydraulic wrench to take it off. Air wrench, pneumatic wrench. So I lower the wrench down, put it back on here, and I jack it back up slowly. This box wrench here, I'll show you that it's staying in place. I get to turn the wrench a little more. Now that I've loosened it up, I'll use the pneumatic wrench to take it all the way off. Okay. On there. Don't try this at home, kids. I'm gonna hold it with my foot. There it is. That's the old shock. After 18 years, 126,000 miles. Is to prevent it from expanding until I want it to. So I'm going to put it in here like this. Thread the bolt back through. This is the little bag of the rubber insulators for the shock. So what you have is you have a metal plate on the bottom, rubber in between. This is on the outside of the car. It goes on the top of this shock. Like that. Now that white restrictor is going to be there for a while. And on the inside of the car, I'm going to put this assembly. So that will hold this shock in at the top. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to need a moron to do this, is to release the shock, cut this off, and it'll go straight up inside the mounting point here. So I'll get my little wire cutter. This is poor form, but I have a weed cutter here. I'm going to use it to release my shock. My shock is going up, as you can see, into the inside, and that's it. I release it down here. I remove that, and later on, I'm going to place the nut down here, and I'm going to torque it on using a torque wrench. to the proper tightness. Now I'm going to go ahead and move. And you can't really tell from here, but there's a stud coming through. And so what I'm supposed to do is put this rubber donut washer on top of that. And I have to jack the car up so that it will allow it to bolt. Stop that for a second. But anyway, these two items will fit here and here when I'm done. Okay, I jacked it up. You can't see it that well, but here's the blue shaft. I put the rubber piece in place. I put the steel donut on top. And I put on the extra bolt or nut that screws on top of this. And that's it on the inside. When I'm done, I'm going to cover this back up. That's all there is to it. Somewhat unique to the Mustang is this concept of a sideways axle dampener. It's meant for a car with a relative high amount of horsepower so that it can control this old style axle. Now if I'm lucky, I'm just going to put this on here and take it right off. But so far nothing's been easy today, and it looks like it applies to this as well. So I am going to get a different socket, an 18, which is not meant for this application, but I'm going to use it anyway. And I took it right off. And then the one back here uses a wonderful 19mm socket, 15 actually. And if I'm smart, this one will come out the same way as the other one. The question is, can I get a wrench in there without hurting anything, like a brake line? Okay, so I have it in there. Let's give it a whirl. There we go. I guess that one decided to be easy, so I took the nut out. Let's have the fixed one. And there it is. This is the axle dampener. It's a smaller one. I'll be putting one somewhere back on it right now. Here's the new shock. It's a little bit different. Goes in the same place. Just going to put a little tie wrap on here. Okay, there's the little tie wrap in place. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. Okay, and this one's just going right back on. And this is going here. Extend the shock just a little bit. Has a captive welded nut. So I'm just going to put that back in there. And this one up here goes back to the top. That's it. That's the replacement. I'll be putting the wheel back on in a second here. And here's the new shocks. There's the top mount coming all the way down to the bottom for the axle here. That was one that was kind of hard to get off. Here's the axle dampener one coming over to this part, which is really a shaded boot captive nut there. So back here, reinforce the final one, and mounting the wheel back on. And that's it. That's all you get.